This is PWF Empire Live.
It's the best thing going today.
The best insight and analysis on the hottest topics in the world of wrestling happens here. From storylines and news to rumors and reviews, we've got the action covered from bell to bell. Presented by PWFEmpire.com with your hosts, Charlie Feast, Evan Medina, and J-Dub.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
The match starts now.
PWF Empire is live tonight following Elimination Chamber. This was a special event broadcast exclusively on the WWE Network, and we are right here on PWFEmpire.com to give you guys our thoughts on the show. We're covering every single match, the good, the bad, the ugly of Elimination Chamber. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I'm Jay, and I'm joined by my co-host, Evan. What's up?
Here we are for Chamber. Man, pay-per-views are just flying left and right, and wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that it's taken a while to come down from that high of that one match that we saw on Elimination Chamber. You have to still be feeling that high too, right?
Oh yeah, there's that one match. I don't remember who was in it, but yeah, there's something that happened tonight that was just a little bit surprising. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, especially for you, I know, but we will get there.
Yes,
we shall get there. Thank you guys for tuning in to PWF Empire Live, and you're more than welcome to go ahead and let us know your thoughts on Elimination Chamber. You can do so on the chat on YouTube alongside the video. If you happen to be watching PWF Empire Live, you can also do so on the post on PWFEmpire.com at any point throughout the week when you may be watching this video, and also Twitter with the hashtag PWF Empire, because the conversation continues on and off air. Let's go ahead and get that conversation started the same way in which WWE got Elimination Chamber started. This was an Elimination Chamber match with the tag titles on the line. New Day went in. All three members were competing in this match. Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods with their titles on the line versus a range of other teams. You have the Lucha Dragons, Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, Primetime Players, the Ascension, Los Matadores, and New Day. After all of that, all of those teams involved in the match, New Day, they walk away victorious. What did you think about how everything played out with this very first match at Elimination Chamber?
It was pretty solid. Having New Day go over was definitely, to me, the best option. I think it was cool that PTP got to be the last team eliminated. That was a good spot for them. I think they really tried to make that Kalisto spot be like the spot of the match, and I just don't think it panned out as well as it was supposed to. It was supposed to be like this huge, I remember when John Morrison did it a few years ago, something similar, and it actually was really cool. But when so many people were in the ring, it just, I don't know, he didn't really get a good jump on it. I mean, I'm not blaming him or sitting there and being all nitpicky over it, but it wasn't exactly as good of a spot as I think that what was intended.
The problem was they kind of focused a little bit too much on what was going on below Kalisto, because it took him so long to set up. You can't just have the camera on him the whole damn time with him just swinging back and forth trying to place himself. But then when they shoot the camera towards what's going on below him, you can kind of see them standing there kind of anticipating it. Like, okay, dude, when the fuck are you going to fall? Go ahead and fall so we can get the spot over with. It took entirely too much setup and just the direction and the camera. Everything was off. It was supposed to be great, but it really wasn't. It kind of just happened. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think there were several spots that weren't as good as maybe they could have been, but I still think this was a solid way to kick off the night, and I think it was the right match to kick off the night, too. I mean, you had to figure one of the two chamber matches was probably going to start the show off. And I think the whole tag thing was interesting in the first place, and it worked out pretty well. I mean, having New Day kind of stack up for the final pinfall was pretty funny to me, as well as Primetime Players actually trying to lock Xavier, I believe it was, into the pod to try to even the odds out. So that was interesting too. But yeah, seeing El Torito wasn't exactly anyone's favorite thing. At least it wasn't. I wasn't too behind that whole thing. But I will say in general, I thought the match worked. They just try to do too much at certain spots, in my opinion, but for the most part, it was pretty solid, and New Day retaining the titles was probably the best option to me as well. So,
yeah, New Day is entertaining as hell, and I guess WWE figured out the answer to my question that I posed on our preview of Elimination Chamber. Would it be more entertaining to see New Day bitch about not winning the titles, or would it be more entertaining to see New Day celebrating retaining the championships? And I guess they felt that it would be more entertaining with them celebrating winning the championship. So, hey, that's the option that they went with. But this wasn't a bad match, but it still surprised me. And Evan, you talked about how, they did some things in the match. It worked, but it worked in a way in which I didn't expect, because I was going into this match and you had people like Los Matadores, you had the Lucha Dragons in here, and I was thinking that the high-flying actions, the spots, that was going to be the meat of this match. That was going to be what was most memorable. But interestingly enough, what was most memorable to me about this match was the power guys. People like Cesaro, people like Titus O'Neil. And I have to say, Titus O'Neil was the MVP of the Elimination Chamber. The way that he utilized the chamber both voluntarily and involuntarily. Like, you had those moments where he would slam people into the chamber, and then you had that one moment where New Day, they were like choking him with one of the chains on the wall of the chamber. I thought that was a pretty cool moment in the match too. And yeah, I have to crown him the MVP a tag team match that was contained in the ring with that just so happens to be in a chamber. But I felt that it actually turned into an Elimination Chamber match when you had those people start to come in the match, and it kind of kicked up the intensity a notch. So all in all, I say that this was a success in my book. And of course, New Day retaining the titles, I'm perfectly fine with that. Actually, I'm not fine. That's awesome.
I think it's awesome too, and I love that all three of them stacked up for the final pin. I thought that was good too. But man, Big E's head going straight into that pod, into the pod. That was a spot and a half right there. He didn't even. I don't even think he got his hand up. That was just straight head into the glass. So that was an interesting spot as well toward the end. So and they had you wondering. There was a couple of near falls toward the end where it looked like the Primetime Players actually might win the titles. I mean, it kind of had you on the edge of your seat. So there was some good near falls toward the end as well when it got to the final two teams.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting decision to have the Primetime Players pin and eliminate Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. I was kind of wondering, why did they go with that? Of course, they booked them to be strong in the match, but just having that team when they're on an Ascension, so to say, in WWE, pin an already really popular tag team, I was kind of wondering about that, but hopefully, there are no ill effects for the Primetime Players going forward. But they definitely had a great showing in this match, and Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, they were awesome as well. But New Day, they walk away as your tag team champions. We're going to move to our next match here. This is also a championship match. This was the Divas Championship on the line. Nikki Bella defending versus Naomi and Paige in a triple threat match. Nikki Bella, thankfully, walks away as the winner, and the reign continues.
As soon as she won, I was like, oh, Jay's going to love this one.
Yes, and you were 100% correct. I did love it.
Yeah, this match was kind of messy to me. I don't know. There was a couple of botches in there. Paige almost broke her neck, I think, twice. It seems like there was a couple of spots that were a little scary. Naomi was trying to do a reverse Frankenstein or something to her, and it just scared the crap out of me. Both of them almost broke their necks on that one. So that was just a little bit of a dangerous spot, if you ask me. It was. I don't know. I don't think it really was all that good. Nikki retaining was not all that surprising to me. That's why I said before, I feel like there will be some type of spot that will just lead to Nikki retaining either way. And so I'm not surprised at all.
September 15th.
Oh, yeah, we're getting closer. But yeah, it just was kind of a messy match. I wasn't all too into it, and it's a tough. I will say this much: it's hard to follow up when there was a pretty good match to start off the night and then follow it up with a triple threat Divas match. Again, this is where the 3-person match can be harder to work with, and I think that this was kind of an example of that. So, to me, somewhat messy, but not surprised at the finish.
Here's the thing. I understood what they were attempting to do in this match, and if they had actually done it, then this would have been a good match. But they didn't. So, I mean, here's what you have. Like, I'll say A for effort. They totally went out there and they attempted to put together a nice match, but it just felt very clunky in parts. And like you said, it was messy, very messy, and shit, it looked dangerous. Not the dangerous from the perspective where it's like, oh yeah, this is good. They're going in there and they're tearing each other apart. It's like, oh shit, something is going wrong. Like somebody is going to get hurt here. And that's not the good kind of dangerous in wrestling. But at the end of the day, Nikki Bella, she retained the championship. She's one step closer to September 15th, her becoming the longest reigning Divas champion in WWE history in the, 5-year history of the title. But whatever, that's not important. She's very close to becoming number one. So that's pretty much, if I just look at that and I take that, wonderful match. Probably match of the night.
Oh man, yeah, it beats the guys that the shirt of the guy that you're wearing right now. That spot doesn't matter because Nikki would be champion till September.
Yep, this K is for Nikki, but it's it's so big that it couldn't fit on, and this is actually like. Doesn't even make sense.
What an intricate design you're trying to come up with.
Yeah, that's how important it was. Like, I went all out with the design of this shirt, so
really
it says Nikki Bella. You just can't tell it says Nikki Bella because the whole point of it was for people to ask what it says, and then I would explain to them, and then they know. Like, that makes sense. So
yeah.
Right. Or it could also stand for Kevin Owens. Because
possibly.
Holy shit, Kevin Owens versus John Cena. And Evan, we talk about this very frequently. Anytime John Cena actually has a match, the whole thing where it's like you can enjoy the storyline, you can enjoy the build-up going into that match, but still, it's John Cena. Like, the fact that it's John Cena almost guarantees him a victory, but lo and behold, this time it did not. Kevin Owens got a squeaky clean win over John Cena. And wow, what the hell can I say about this match? Like, this whole match was a holy shit moment for me from start to finish.
It had a huge feel to it. Huge feel. It felt like one of those matches that like you will want to watch again because it was just like two stars colliding to me. I mean, again, some people may not, recognize Kevin Owens right off the bat if they're not familiar with his background and whatnot. But I mean, for anybody who's been a fan of the business for a while, you just know that this guy is a big deal anyway. And so for him, it's like two just completely huge stars colliding to me. I felt this had a big fight feel.
And then the thing about that is pretty much the promo that he cut after the match, it summarized everything perfectly. If you did not know who Kevin Owens was before Elimination Chamber, you damn sure did now, because it wasn't one of those situations where this guy went in and he had a newbie feel to him, because for all intents and purposes, this actually was his very first match on WWE's main roster. But if you watch that match, it didn't feel that way. It felt like two people who are at the top of their game going into a match and competing. And the fact that Kevin Owens has something within him to infiltrate the WWE universe, John Cena's territory, and him to give off that presence in the ring with the 15-time world champion, it speaks volumes in favor of Kevin Owens.
This may very well be the most important victory over John Cena that's ever happened. I mean, again, I know that that's up for debate, and this isn't about that. But what I'm saying is this is right up there at the top. If you're not counting it as number one, you have to put it in your top few. Because how many guys have even beaten Cena clean anyway? It's a short list. It really is. So for Kevin Owens to have done that on his first ever match, I mean, that is just crazy. And on regular WWE roster is amazing. And look how much that puts NXT over, too. Like, it just shows how good of a brand NXT has been for WWE. And it shows how much they care about this guy and how much they want to invest into NXT as a whole. I think it represents a lot of things. This match was symbolic of a lot. And there were some really good near-fall moments in this match. A lot of good ones for both guys. And, I mean, every time Cena was going for the cover, you're like, oh, man, here comes the loss. I mean, I really thought there was going to be like a DQ or something, and that was going to lead to a rematch at Money in the Bank. I mean, they're going to have a rematch either way. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves. Let's just talk about tonight. This was amazing that Cena lost clean to Owens. That is just crazy. I did not expect that at all. And I'm really glad I didn't get what I expected, because it makes you just go nuts. It makes you happy. Like, I didn't even really have anything to say at the time because I was so, like, what? Like, you just beat him? I mean, I thought Cena
this is one of those times where it's like, you're wrong, and I'm like, I'm okay with that. I'm happy I'm wrong.
I am so glad I'm wrong. And I was even saying that during the Rusev feud too, when every time I'd be like, oh, there's that overwhelming predictability that Cena will win. I wanted to be wrong every time, like I really do. I want to see guys get over in that way. And Owens deserves it. He really does. Like, there's zero reason why Owens shouldn't go over. There's just not even one that makes any sense, because we're at a point in time now where new guys need to be the big deal in WWE, and they're building him up to feel like another monster type of character, and that's exactly what WWE needs. I mean, yeah, Brock has been a good monster, but he's only around a few times a year. So Owens is going to be a guy that you have all the time and can still feel like a monstrous character, and he's a classic heel. He works as a heel so excellent. It was just such a good match. I really love this match. Easily one of the best of the year, if not the best of the year. And the clean victory is just crazy. I mean, come on, who didn't expect Cena to kick out of that second powerbomb? I mean, I sure as hell did. I really did, because he kicks out of literally just about everything. So when he loses, it's a big deal. So this is a huge moment for Kevin Owens, huge moment for NXT, huge moment for the company. And in all honesty, it was amazing, just flat out amazing.
Yeah, and what I loved about this match is a different kind of Kevin Owens that we got a chance to see in this match. We're used to seeing Kevin Owens play that cocky type guy, and he played that character in this match as well, but it was from a different perspective, because Kevin Owens, he goes into every single match that he competes in knowing for damn sure that he's gonna win, but this time around, I felt a little bit of desperation from him. You could see the frustration building up on his face when he was competing against John Cena, and when John Cena would kick out after a pin attempt. And like Kevin Owens, he usually goes into his match and he has one mindset. He's like, destroy. I enjoy beating the shit out of my opponent. But this time around, I felt like he actually wanted to win this match. Like, he was craving a victory over John Cena because of all of the reasons that you just expressed, how this is so important. Everything that you just said, Kevin Owens, that was in his mind as well when he was competing in this match. And he had that sense of urgency about him and that desperation that he needed to beat John Cena. And it actually fueled him to a victory. And every single thing about this match was on point. The in-ring action, the storytelling perspective, I just loved every single bit of it. And everything about this match screamed main event, to the point where I finished watching the match and I'm like, well, shit, we got a rest of the show to finish. And I was like, what? Like now, like when Neville and I'm just going to let you guys know right now, if you're expecting an in-depth review of Neville versus Bo Dallas, I am sorry, because I was still sitting at my screen like, what the fuck did I just see for that entire match? Like, again, all I know is Neville hit the red arrow, and that was
right. I mean, it's I give those guys, you got to give props to those guys for going out there and doing the best they can to follow up a match that good. I mean, it's got to be very hard. It's almost impossible to follow something that huge. So if you're Neville and Bo Dallas, you're like, damn it, I got to follow this now. But their match, not to say it wasn't great, but I guess we'll get there. But anyway, this was one of the biggest moments you're probably going to see in 2015. I mean, this is the crowning of a guy who may be a next big deal for WWE. He should be a next big deal for WWE. Why not? He has been built up in NXT so well, in my opinion, and now, they're already throwing him into the main roster. And, I mean, come on, he beat John Cena. It's not like he just beat some guy who's been a main eventer before, and, oh, well, that's nice. Like, Cena has been the face of WWE for the last 12, 13 years. This is not a small victory by any means. This is as big as it can be, and there's no way to undermine that. That is just blaringly huge for Owens. So, amazing moment, and I can't wait to see what they continue to do with Kevin Owens going down the line.
Yeah, and going into this match, my biggest reservation about Kevin Owens winning, and this is this was my whole mindset. I hoped that in the hierarchy in WWE, the NXT Championship would outrank the United States Championship. But it wasn't just any United States champion that Kevin Owens was facing. It was John friggin' Cena, the man that runs the place, as he, self-proclaimed and shit. It doesn't even necessarily have to be self-proclaimed. Like, John Cena, he's John Cena. That's all that needs to be said. So the fact that he actually got this win, wow, it shocked the entire hell out of me. I was thinking some kind of shenanigans were going to occur at the end of the match, but Kevin Owens walks away with a clean victory over John Cena. Man, and a very amazing contest and great effort from both guys. And so, yeah, that's it on that. And I guess I already told you guys what to expect from Neville and Bo Dallas. Neville defeated Bo Dallas here with the red arrow. This was a match. I'll go back and watch it over again, and I'll give them their props, I guess, on the next episode of PWF Empire Live, but it is not within my capacity to do so right now. I apologize, but we'll get to it on Wednesday, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, from what I gathered from the match, it was fine, but it was hard to be invested in this match in any way because of the fact that what had just happened was like so much to take in that you're not going to sit there and be like, oh yeah, I'm ready to watch this match. You're just like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. You're still just sitting there going nuts over what had just taken place. So again, very tough act to follow. From what I gathered, it was a fine match. Not like it was anything to complain about or whatnot, but again, it's going to fall by the wayside in comparison to something like Kevin Owens beating John Cena clean. That's like a moment.
Kevin Owens beat John Cena clean. God damn.
Like, I mean, honestly, that could have been the end of the pay-per-view right there, and I'm okay. Like, all right.
Honestly, shit, well, looking at how everything else turned out, it should have been the end of the pay-per-view, but we'll get there.
Ouch. Cold burn. But, all right, yeah, that's basically all I have to say about Neville and Bo Dallas is that, from what I gathered, it seemed like a fine match, but, again, very hard to get into because of what just happened before, so.
And here we have our second and final Elimination Chamber match of the night. This was for the Intercontinental Championship. Sheamus versus R-Truth versus King Barrett versus Dolph Ziggler versus Vacant. And, because Rusev, he ended up getting injured on SmackDown, so he wasn't able to compete here. I was going into this match, and I was thinking many things. I was like, is this going to be one of the first times in history where WWE actually lets Vacant defend their championship? When can we say that's happened? Like, when has Vacant ever been given a fucking opportunity to defend the championship? Like, he always gets it taken away from him, and he's not even competing in the matches. I was thinking, maybe this was going to be the situation where he finally gets to defend the title. Or maybe, hey, they throw me into the Elimination Chamber. But they put Mark Henry in there.
Yeah.
And
it's not like you and Mark Henry really have anything in common. You guys don't look anything alike, so I don't know how they would have gotten you guys mixed up. I mean, doesn't make any sense.
The thing is, like, I was actually backstage at Elimination Chamber,
right?
And I saw Mark Henry, and I blacked out, and next thing I know, he was in the ring. So I don't know what happened, but
I don't know. Mark Henry, I don't know, Hall of Pain. Yeah, you feel okay though, right?
I mean, I do have my back hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe that. I don't know, but
yeah,
Mark Henry is in the match, and see, here's how you can tell some fuckery was going on. Because if you look at this match, Mark Henry must have found out that he was going to be in this match 5 minutes before it actually started. Because I'm looking at the match, and there were times where Mark Henry was just standing there, not doing anything, like watching the action go on.
It was like he was just shooting the shit with the ref or something. Like, hey, man, like, how you been lately? Like, I haven't been on
kids,
TV.
You know?
Yeah, like, I've been on TV for like 3 months. Let me win the IC title,
God.
It's funny. Before the match even started, I was like, watch King Barrett get eliminated first. What happens?
I'm sorry. I'm not calling him king anymore. He's a pretender to the throne.
He's the Joker now, okay? Like, he's not...
He's one of the Blackfires. He's a pretender to the throne. He's not a real king. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, wow. And R-Truth pinned him, too. Not only did he pin him on SmackDown this past week, but he pins him at the pay-per-view as well. So
see, is it just me, or when they do shit like that, like that's sending a message? You can't you could have been pinned by anybody in the match, but to be pinned by the person who we all thought was going to be eliminated first, like that has to say something. And I mean, Wade Barrett, all he got from winning King of the Ring was a damn cape, a crown, and a scepter. So all he got was a gimmick. That's it.
Yeah. Yep. Because they wanted it for whatever reason. I guess they wanted to get away from bad news because he stopped saying, "I'm afraid I've got some bad news," which was awesome. That was like the coolest line he ever had.
He went from giving the bad news to just getting it nearly every single week.
Really, it's true. And I mean, again, we've been saying in the past weeks, he's got the scepter and the cape, and he still gets his ass kicked, even with the gimmick on. He has the gimmick on, and he still gets his ass beat. So it's like, it just doesn't matter, I guess. This match was really, really underwhelming for me. I expected a lot more out of this, and I didn't get it.
It was boring as hell, and that's one of the worst things that you could possibly be in wrestling, because I've seen some terrible matches where at least I can get some kind of enjoyment out of them to the point where I have fun trashing the match. But with this one, it was boring. Boring doesn't do anything for me. Boring, for all of my Wire fans out there, it's like a 40-degree day. Nobody gives a fuck about a 40-degree day. And I didn't give a fuck about this match either. It was... Man, there was literally nothing redeeming about this match. Oh, and I guess Ryback, he won. So, yeah. And new Intercontinental Champion. That's something that we have to mention. So.
Yeah, by the time I really, would have cared about... by the time the match was done, I wouldn't have really cared. I didn't really care that much. And it's too bad because Ryback wins his first singles title, and they made it feel like it didn't really matter much. And, that's his first ever singles title. It should mean something. But to me, I think the other message in this match is that they clearly... Because as we talked about in the preview video, when we talked about how the Intercontinental title could potentially be a detriment to Sheamus, I feel like another message was sent to us in that they value Sheamus, so they had Ryback go over.
They care about Sheamus too much to give him the Intercontinental Championship.
Yep. They're like, well, Ryback's been kind of all over booking hell anyway because he's gone from a triple threat #1 contenders match to losing to, who was it, Adam Rose or something. He lost to somebody that's well below him on the card 2 weeks later. And now he loses to Bray Wyatt at the last pay-per-view, and then a couple weeks later is Intercontinental Champion. So there's your consistent build. And not only that, but Sheamus beat him on Raw in 5 minutes. Well, no, it was a little longer than that, but still, just a week or two ago. So... Yeah.
Technically, Sheamus beat him tonight, too, because after that white noise on the... on the floor of the Elimination Chamber, Ryback didn't even kick out. I was watching that and I was like, what, was that just me or did Ryback not kick out? Sheamus had to break up the pin himself, so technically Sheamus won, but...
It was like a WWE 2K moment where you have to hit cancel so the match keeps going.
And I've had many of those because that damn lag online is terrible. So,
oh, I know.
yeah, I've had many of those moments.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Okay, so what do we have next? The main event of Monday Night Raw, Elimination Chamber, was Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. When all was said and done, it looked as if Dean Ambrose would walk away with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, but the match ended in a disqualification, and I guess technically Dean Ambrose won, but Seth Rollins still has the championship. And I just want to go to this picture here because this was probably one of the highlights of the night. When Seth Rollins found out that he was still champion, do you see that?
Amazing.
Do you see that picture? I am using that as my desktop wallpaper from probably here to eternity. I just want you guys to ponder on that for a little bit. So, yeah, Evan, you can go ahead and give your thoughts on the match.
Wow. That picture really is the summation of the match. So, I think that pretty much sums it up. That is every Dean Ambrose fan in the world when it seemed like he won the title. And then they had the same face when they realized that he didn't win the title. So, I mean, then again, I mean, I can't really say it wasn't kind of like exciting at the idea of Ambrose like being champion, only because we all like Dean Ambrose and did get that.
So let me just say, let me just ask, how many get out of jail free cards are you using now? Because at least in my understanding, he used the ultimate one on Monday Night Raw to literally get out of jail. So if it was up to me, I know you said they're like infinite, but like that had to be like, I can't think of any other use for a get out of jail free card that would be better than actually getting out of jail. So
yeah, that's
true.
True.
Are you going to use one tonight?
Well, I mean, I think.
Do you need to use one tonight?
I don't really think you do because, I mean, they gave you, like, the false hope, and then he doesn't even win it anyway. So there's really no reason for me to even waste one here. So I think I think this match was fine. It was a pretty good match, and I was very surprised that they gave us the Dean Ambrose is pinning Rollins, the referee's out, and then a new ref comes in and actually counted to 3. I was expecting the kick out because that's like the spot, you know what I mean? That's like very common to see. Is that he would have had him for 3 if the ref was up, and then the new ref comes in, crawls into the ring, get 1, 2, and then the guy kicks out. So I was very surprised that Rollins was actually down for 3 after. I don't know. The finish to me has me kind of feeling like, I don't know. Like, is this going to lead to Ambrose and Rollins again at Money in the Bank? I don't know who else Rollins is going to face because Reigns is in the Money in the Bank match, and so is Orton. And I don't know who else is even at the level right now to face Rollins, unless Kane ends up doing the turn, and it doesn't look like that's happening. So,
see, this is the kind of roundabout bullshit that WWE does. I would not put it past them, where it's like he didn't have much merit to get into the match, but the fact that he was in the match and he technically beat Seth Rollins, then they use that as fuel to give him another match. But here's the thing. I like Dean Ambrose. I like Seth Rollins. But as far as this match goes, I like the match too, but I felt like I was watching a Monday Night Raw match. The only difference was it was Sunday. Like, that gave off a really, it gave me a TV main event feel. And it did not help matters the fact that they had to follow Kevin Owens versus John Cena, which is what should have been the main event of this show. But I feel like if we're to compare those two matches, I feel like with the Kevin Owens match, they understood the magnitude of what was going on, and they rose to the occasion. I don't feel as if I saw much of anything new from Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. It's just that they knew that they were going to deliver a good match. Shit, they could have won in the ring and just stared at each other, and that could have been a good match. And I feel like they just rested on the two names and went in there and kind of put it on cruise control a little bit. I wouldn't expect much of anything different from a match that I would see between those two guys on Raw. So that was my whole thing watching that. And as I was watching the match, I literally was thinking to myself, this really feels like a Raw main event. The only thing that's missing here is a DQ finish. And what the fuck do you know? We actually get a DQ finish here. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. It felt like a Raw match, a good Raw match, but a Raw match nonetheless.
Yeah, well, for me, and again, I asked this question legitimately. What exactly is the DQ? Is it the fact that there was contact made with the initial referee? Because we've seen the contact made with the initial ref before, and then the new ref comes in, and then his call is not overturned. We've seen that before. Is this just a because wrestling type of moment here? At least from your perspective, Jay?
I don't know. I have to actually go check to see it. It might be one of those because wrestling moments.
Yeah,
and if you guys don't know what a because wrestling moment is, you know how there are some things that happen in wrestling where it only happens because it fits the situation. Like, they could do it in another scenario, and if they wanted to take it in a different direction, they just take it in a different direction. It's just like, because wrestling. That's like the default answer when you don't want to think too much about the logic behind WWE booking because, it hurts.
Exactly.
So that's what because wrestling.
And is. I always go back to that I Quit match that I think it was Miz and Cena had, where they did the whole Cena. They did like a pre-recorded thing with Cena saying that he quit, and then they went to a video replay, which has never been they never do anything like that. A video replay, and then overturned the initial call that Cena had quit because they realized that Cena's mouth never moved. He never said he actually quit. So then they overturned the decision and Cena won. So it was like that's a because I feel like that exemplifies because wrestling. Like, they never do let's get a video replay on the monitor. Since when does
that's exactly it. Like, the whole thing when they use video replays and shit, that's a because wrestling moment there.
Exactly. So and I feel like this thing, this disqualification was like a because wrestling moment. It's like, I've seen matches where the referee gets taken out, the new ref comes in, and whatever happens counts. So, and I just don't know. That didn't make a whole lot. That didn't really add up to me. So, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of just a reason to give us another Rollins-Ambrose match because there really isn't a whole lot of other options for Rollins in terms of title matches going forward. So, I don't know. The in-ring stuff was fine. But, yeah, the finish was not exactly awesome to me.
Orbits is saying in the chat right now, the best Raw main event of the year. I'll go ahead and give it to him. Yeah. It's Sunday Night Raw. Yes. I'll give it to Rollins and Ambrose. But let's go ahead and bring this Elimination Chamber review to a close. Do we even have to say what the match of the night was?
No, because it's so obvious.
I mean, yeah, it's obvious.
Yes.
So, I guess we'll go ahead and say it anyway. Kevin Owens versus John Cena, where Kevin Owens actually pinned John Cena clean.
Amazing. Wow. No bullshit. None. Zero BS.
Yeah,
none.
Nothing questionable in this match at all. Where we would use an instant replay or anything like that. None of that existed.
Nothing.
Finisher, pin, win. That's it.
Yep. That's it. No, someone came out, there was a distraction, one ref got taken out, nothing. When I say nothing, I mean it literally was a clean victory, and that's the reason why it's such a, holy shit type of moment, and definitely was the match, moment, everything of the night, not even a question about it.
And I'd say the worst was definitely the Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber.
Yes, I mean, as much as I didn't really enjoy the Divas match, that one was whatever. It's the Divas match. This was the Intercontinental
At least they tried. I didn't feel like they tried in this match.
No, and the crowd was so not into it. I mean, they loved the Owens and Cena stuff. They were really even into the tag match a lot. And this, you could just tell they were like, man, this isn't good. And this was the match that was supposed to get them back into things. Like after Bo Dallas and Neville's match, you felt like the Intercontinental Championship match would kind of get everybody back. Like, you know, after the whole Owens and Cena thing, you have a recovery match, even though that probably should have been what the Divas match was. I saw somebody said that in the chat, and I agree. But you know, then you get the match that's supposed to build things back up, which would have been the IC title chamber. And to me, it was like one of those matches that got started and never really went anywhere. Like, you were thinking to yourself, man, there might be, like, there was no memorable spots. I literally have 0 memorable spots from that match. Like Mark Henry's pod got like broken, and then he just kind of came into the match. I don't even think that was on purpose. I feel like that just kind of happened, and then they were like, "Ah, here you go."
And then Sheamus, he got locked into the damn pod and worked his way out with the cross. I didn't know if that was planned either. It just seemed like so much seemed so sloppy about this match, and it's like, it's unfortunate if it wasn't planned, and if it was planned, then I don't know what the hell they were expecting to get, because it didn't turn out well.
And it's too bad to me, because honestly, it's nice to see Ryback finally get a championship, because I think, like, not only have I already praised the fact that he has a really good connection with the crowd, but I think he's really improved quite a bit too. Like, Ryback is really becoming quite solid, but the inconsistency with him has been a big flaw to me, as well as the fact that this match really wasn't very good. So it overshadows the fact that he gets a nice moment here. So that's a bit of a shame. Not a bit of a shame. It is a damn shame, and to me, I really think so, because I think Ryback is actually pretty damn good. But
well, I guess that's it for Elimination Chamber, and we got a comment here from is it Dalton with Sheamus's catchphrase, "Are you not entertained?" When it comes to that IC title Elimination Chamber, no, I wasn't.
Yeah, no, nope.
I
wasn't feeling that one. No.
Alrighty, but onward and upward. Dean Ambrose walked away from Elimination Chamber not as the WWE Champion, but with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and he was accompanied by his new sidekick, Roman Reigns. They ran through the crowd with the title, and I guess they're going out for beer. So, you know, they should put that on the WWE Network. I'm pretty sure that would be an interesting conversation that would be made privy to, you know, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with Dean Ambrose with the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. That's something that we can look forward to for Monday Night Raw tomorrow. But as far as us tonight, that's all that we got for you guys. Unless, Evan, you have anything else you wanted to say before we head off air?
Not particularly, but I'd say an overall decent pay-per-view. That pretty much, like, it had moments that were good and moments that were not so good. So to me, it was kind of just, had good moments, not so good moments. In the middle.
Yeah, the one thing that I definitely will take away from this show, Kevin Owens pinning John Cena clean. But
that moment to me is like so big that it like overshadows some of the moments that weren't good. So I think that's why you'll end up saying that this pay-per-view was fine, because like there was one of the best moments that you can see. So
yeah, this match definitely carried the hell out of this show, and this will not be the last that you hear of Kevin Owens versus John Cena, because we got another match coming up in 2 weeks, and also because we have, you know, some awards and accolades we like to hand out at the end of the year, and I'm quite sure that where I sit right now, this isn't going to be the last that you hear of Kevin Owens versus John Cena. So that's something to look forward to. Also, something else to look forward to, PWF Empire Live returns to our regularly scheduled time this Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on pwfempire.com. Evan will be there. I'll be there. Hopefully you're there as well. And until then, we'll catch you later. Peace out.